So welcome and thank you so much for joining us today for the Winter Research Collaborative meeting hosted by our team here at the Michigan Virtual Learning Research Institute, or MVLRI. Please, like I said, throughout the meeting, use your microphones if you have them. If you don't have a mic, please feel free to share any opportunities in the chat box and we'll share it out over the mic. And I see Randy said that he doesn't have his mic working today, so yeah, just share anything that you have in the chat box and one of us will go ahead and share it out with the community. Also, after you're finished talking, go ahead and mic again to release the mic for other speakers. So before we get started with today's meeting, an important disclaimer for our collaborative meetings. This webinar will be recorded and shared publicly. Consequently, anything shared during this webinar, including chat comments, could be shared publicly. This webinar may represent a presenter's or an attendee's personal views, opinions, conclusions, and other information which do not necessarily reflect those of MVU and/or the Michigan Virtual Learning Research Institute, and are not given nor endorsed by MVU or MVLRI unless otherwise specified. So here's our agenda for today. We'll start off with introductions so that everyone can know who's here, and then move on to the sharing part of the meeting. Again, this collaborative meeting is an open community for everyone to come together and share opportunities that they know of for collaboration, as well as questions about their current research that they're working on. After that, we'll take time to wrap up and do upcoming events. So let's get started with introductions. If you could grab the mic or jump into the chat box to tell everyone your name, affiliation, research interests, and what you'd like to get out of this meeting.
Yeah, this is Kay. Hopefully you can hear me. I now have a phone that seems to, looks like it might be working. My name is Kay Shattuck, and I'm with Quality Matters. Quality Matters is a not-for-profit educational organization that is focused on quality assurance. My research interests are very broad. I have been for decades reading the research, following it for Quality Matters and for other professional interests. Right now, I am working with a number of researchers as they write up articles. We will have the American Journal of Distance Education is having a Quality Matters focused issue out in the fall, so I'm working with researchers to get that going. So I'll turn the mic to the next.
Hi, I'm Laura Hibbard. I think it's working because I see the little lines coming out of my mic. I at ECOT, which is a full-time online school in Ohio. It's my 9th year teaching elementary school for ECOT. And I also got a PhD in instructional technology about a year and a half ago at Ohio University. And since then have been working to help undergraduates learn a little bit more about the world of online K through 12. So my research interest currently is stemming directly from between the university and the online school.
the mic want to jump on?
Hi, this is Jeff Tysinger, Georgia Southern University, and I'm a psychologist by trade. And one of my research interests, we've been looking at online elements of school psychology and how the rules and functions can transition to into the online world.
This is Rebecca. Can you hear me, Catherine? All right. My name is Rebecca Hoy. I am the Director of Online Learning at Northwestern College, not the Northwestern in Chicago, but a small Christian private school in Iowa. I work with adult populations, but my research interest encompasses both adults and K-12, particularly the 9 through 12 age range. I'm very interested in research about administration of programs, online programs, and I'm also very interested in instructional strategies that are effective for specific populations. Recently, this MV, I'm always worried I'm going to say that wrong, had some presenters from Idaho, and they talked about their need for research that was of that nature. So if a student has characteristics, then these instructional strategies are the most effective. And I'm very, very interested in that. Thanks.
Read out random introductions from the Canadian e-learning and Canadian equivalent of ICAL. They're interested in compiling Canadian research and how Canadian practice compares with other countries. But interested in supporting the blended learning initiatives in our country abroad. We also have Jason Haas, an education and Director of Programs and Services with the North Carolina Christian School Association, so a doctoral candidate at the university. To you both, and I think some other people are going ahead and jump to the notes area just in case somebody would like to take the mic. He mentioned, Michael, you want to jump on to talk about the research interests? I'll go ahead and about look from Scout, University of California. We have Mary Garcia, who is program for University of California online. Okay, hopefully Mike will jump on soon, and if you, I will release the mic for you. I'm going to go ahead and, okay, so Michael's checking the wizard out. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started on the business part of the meeting. Like I said, glad you could join us here. Let's look at the grant opportunities. Anyone have anything to share here? I'm going to go ahead and release the mic and go ahead and jump into the chat if you have opportunities and don't have a mic to speak out. All right. Oh. Okay, I'm not sure who just tried to reach out, but if you are trying to reach out, go ahead and put a chat in the chat box. We did discover a place called experiment.com last week. It's a crowdsourcing for research funding. So that was pretty interesting when we found that, because that's a really good way to get research, especially if you're working with a great big association such as Can You Learn or Quality Matters, who has a bunch of groups that they're working with, and if you're working with a district, but getting buy-in from parents who want to see research done on their school, that's a great way to kind of crowdsource funding for research on a particular project. Anybody else have opportunities that they'd like to share about grants? All right, we'll go ahead and move on to collaboration opportunities for research. Okay, Michael, we'll go ahead and see your typing there. So I apologize that it's not working locally. All right, since no one's sharing anything right now, if you do have something to share, put it in the chat box. We just got done finishing up some webinars where virtual schools, members of the Virtual School Leadership Alliance shared their research needs, and hopefully some of you could join us for those webinars, but they were great. There were 4 of them in the month of December. Kept us really busy right up until the holiday break. But one great thing about it is it offered a lot of insight into what these virtual schools are looking for in terms of research being done at their sites. And I know for a lot of researchers out there, including our group at MVLRI, we're always looking for opportunities to see what needs the field has. And so this was a great way to kind of capitalize and listen to what they have. What I am going to be doing is looking at all of those recordings, which should be up on our website pretty soon, and sharing out those research needs as well as the research contact at those schools so that you can get in touch with them if you do want to work on some of the research needs that they have. I know Susan Lowe's definitely, we will be having that list coming out pretty soon. Go ahead and read Michael's belated introduction. He is the Director of Doctoral Studies at Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut. He's been involved in a variety of research areas in K-12 online learning over the past decade and a half or so. And right now he is tending to get tagged as the internationally focused person, which is where Randy's comment about his work in Canada comes in. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael. And I'm going to move on to the publications piece. Any publications? I know that Kay, you mentioned something about the Journal of Online Distance. If you can go ahead and put some information or speak out about information on how people can get involved in that, or maybe a request for proposals that might be coming out. Grab the mic too. I'm releasing the mic in between talking.
Mic, I talk faster than I type, which actually there's some research data that suggests that's what happens. We had been invited by the American Journal of Distance Education, which is one of the scholarly research journals, to do a specific issue, an issue dedicated to quality matters, building from our some of our presentations at the last Quality Matters conference. That's already underway. We have, I think we're going to have about 6 or 7 research articles. Those had already been invited. It's a work in progress, but of course, for a printed journal, the work in progress is a long time out. The actual journal will be released next fall, but it's already in place. I have the first drafts in, so it's an exciting venture for us. One of the things that we have discovered is trying to make sure that research that we are doing, that we know of, and I would think this probably relates to those of you who focus primarily on K-12, is getting into the scholarly journals, because that's where other researchers find you. That's where doctoral students find you. So we're excited about this opportunity, but for right now, it's for all practical purposes a done deal, although the done deal won't be released for 9 months. I'll give back the mic.
Great, that's wonderful news. I went ahead and added the title of the journal and also the link to the journal online in the chat box if anybody's interested in looking at that. Anybody else have any ideas on collaboration opportunities for publications? Any upcoming special issues, book chapters, call for book chapters, that type of stuff? That's great news, Kay. I'm glad you're trying to do open access as well. That's really important. We have a couple opportunities that we wanted to share. First is the Journal of Online Learning Research, and the second is the MVLRI blog. And I'll talk a little bit about the Journal of Online Learning Research first, and then hand it over to Becky. So it is being published by the Association for the Advancement of Computing in Education. It is a peer-reviewed open access publication and it's published quarterly. It's the first issue, fingers crossed, will be published hopefully in March. And I'm excited to say that we have enough articles at this point to fill our second issue as well, which should be coming out around the end of summer. So keep on sending your work in. It is an international journal devoted to the theoretical, empirical, and pragmatic understanding of technologies and their impact on primary and secondary pedagogy and policy in primary and secondary K-12 online and blended environments. So if you want to submit your work, you go to aace.org /pubs, P-U-B-S. The link to YouTube that I'm pasting into the chat box is one of our webinars that we had earlier last year that gives you an idea of what the journal is about and also its submission process if you're interested. And also we are welcoming 2 issues a year as special issues. So if you're interested in submitting a proposal to us, try to do a description of and a topic of the special issue and its relevance to the topic for the field, and timeline for special issue, the CVs of the guest editor.
Hi, everyone. Glad to see everybody today here on at our collaborative meeting. We have a blog that we've just begun to publicize, and it is available at a link that I will paste into the chat box here. We welcome current and promising research in K-12 online and blended learning. It's a place for people to come together about pressing issues and to discuss what research is needed in order to move the field forward. We have guidelines on the website, and we are anticipating a weekly post, as it says here in the slide. We're looking forward to more and more folks contributing in this way. We do have a blog that will be posted sometime this week about some research that was done with graduates and K-12 students at the UC of Alaska by Dr. Lee. So we're looking forward to getting feedback on that and looking from you. Please feel free to, there's a link to queries and applications on the website that we posted the link to.
Thanks so much, Becky. All right, so we're going to move on to the collaboration opportunities for presentations. Anyone have anything to share, maybe panels at upcoming conferences that are looking for people to sit there, or anything else that you'd like to share? We're waiting for people to post and or grab the mic. I'm going to hand it over to Justin on our team. He's going to talk about the webinar series and also podcasts and vodcasts that he's working on.
Thanks, Catherine. I was able to hear me okay. I see a lot of familiar faces, or I should say familiar names, in our Adobe Connect room here. So I believe a lot of you are probably already familiar with our MVLRI webinar series, which I typically host and moderate. We did want to give you an opportunity to reach out to us if you did want the opportunity to present. So if you have something, whether it's finished research or that's in progress, if you think it's valuable and worthy of sharing with the research community, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'd be happy to provide that platform so that you can discuss that with folks on the field as well. The timing is flexible. We are hosting these all throughout the year. We attempt more than one per week. Sometimes we have a hard time keeping to that at the moment, but again, that's not a bad problem to have, because we have a lot of folks who are willing with us to engage in some great conversation. The webinars do take place in Connect that we're using here today, so I assume a lot of you have a little bit of familiarity with that. I do moderate the webinar. We do have a 10 or 15 minute period to familiar software. If you are interested in hosting, we do share the webinars publicly with the research community. We have an archive on our webinars page of MVLRI.org, and that archive typically points out to the YouTube channel where we post the webinars, the webinar recordings. I post a link in the chat window. And another project that I'm excited to be working on and excited to share with you all is our MVLRI pod series, which we are intermittently calling virtual views. So the purpose of the podcast is to really amplify voices of those who are working K-12 online and blended and help demonstrate more research. The purpose, I guess the mission you would call podcast, share these people's stories with others in the field of K-12 online learning and blended education, and hopefully spur some conversation around what people are doing and how they're incorporating research in their own work. We are interested in interviewing not only researchers, so people who have research that they can point to that has been demonstrated as applicable within the field, but also folks on a wide variety, in a wide variety of positions throughout the field. So staff at state virtual schools, blended and online instructors, mentors, other school staff. We have leadership folks in leadership positions in different states, or research and policy departments in different state education agencies, other authors and advocates that we can have on the podcast. Again, the more the merrier. Folks that who want to share their stories that can actually help demonstrate the power of applicable research. If you're interested in participating in the podcast as an interviewee, or if you are simply interested in listening to our very first one, which will be posted within the next few days here, I'll go ahead and post my email address into the chat box. So feel free to reach out to me, and keep an eye out on our website at mvlri.org to listen to the very first edition, which again will be posted pretty shortly. Thanks, Catherine.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Justin. I'm going to go back up just in case anybody else would like to share collaboration opportunities. It looks like Michael, I'm going to go ahead and read your post here. Michael said the next online learning consortium, formerly known as Sloan C, will be having a specific K-12 track at their annual conference. It's still in the planning stages, but OLC is looking to become much more K-12 friendly, as historically Sloan C and JALN have been not so friendly to K-12. So that's exciting that they are now rebranded and really making a change to become more K-12 focused. That's really exciting news. Thanks so much. Michael, could you also share the link to the OLC conference page and maybe any other information that you have about maybe RFP process for that as well in the chat box? That would be great. So I guess that leads us to upcoming conferences. So that's one right there, the OLC. Also, we have here the Society for Information Technology and Teacher Education. Their upcoming conference is March 2nd to the 6th in Las Vegas. We have a virtual schooling SIG that I believe, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you started. So, yeah, not so exciting about the location, but hey, we'll take it. And then American Educational Research Association, their conference is coming up April 16th to the 20th in Chicago, Illinois. A little bit more exciting to be seeing that, and I know at least one of you in the list here is in Chicago, so that might be a really short commute for you, speaking of Feng Liu. And then we also have the INACOL Symposium Call for Proposals that's coming open February 4th to March 25th. And we're also trying to work out a potential pre-conference for researchers on the day before the conference starts. So we'll be in touch more about that. We're in the works of talking to Allison Powell and Maya, their membership person, to see if we could do that. Anybody else have any opportunities, upcoming conferences, possible collaboration opportunities at upcoming conferences as well? Go ahead and share in the chat box or grab the mic. All right, well, folks are posting. I'm going to go ahead and move on to other opportunities. If there's any other opportunities that aren't shared here that you want to talk about, those could include job opportunities, fellowships, what have you. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the mic for just a second. And it looks like Kay and Randy have shared their upcoming conferences. Quality Matters, next conference is in San Antonio, and they have been having K-12 tracks for the past few years. That's very exciting. Are the dates, if you could list the dates as well in the chat box, Kay, I believe if I go to the link, I probably see those too. And Randy, let's see. Oops. Okay, and there are two local conferences in Western Canada, the Digital Learning Conference in Vancouver, British Columbia, April 19th to the 21st. And there's the link for that one. And there is one also at Edmonton, and that is October 25th to the 27th, and details are to come. And it looks like the Quality Matters one begins November 2nd. Perfect. And call for proposals not out yet for QM conference. Kay, when those come out, and any other conferences, proposals that you want to share out, feel free to send to us and we can send out to the network if you'd like. Oh, and Randy just corrected the Vancouver link. Thanks for that, Randy. All right, so Any other opportunities for collaboration? I'm going to go ahead and turn off the mic for just a second. All right, so the next piece is if you have any questions that you'd like to ask our group here about your research. And this can be anything from your methodologies, your study design questions about your survey development analysis questions, anything you'd like to ask. This is a good platform to do so. All right, looks like everybody is squared away with their research, so I'm going to hand it over to Justin, who's going to talk about some upcoming webinars that we have going on.
Of course, I'm just finalizing the presentation, so some of it's fresh in my mind. But what we're going to overview is the general information that we've found in the K-12 focused literature, and some new themes that seem to have been emerging over the past few years. And Christine will talk about some applications and some ramifications of those. I'll be talking a little bit about maybe some plans you could make, some questions you could ask yourself if you, in fact, want to do some research. So that's just my little teaser.
Great, thanks so much, Kay. I know I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure a lot of the folks here in attendance are as well. And then later that same week, we do have on January 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll be hearing from Randy, who is also in attendance, and his colleague Verena Roberts from Can eLearn. And we'll be learning a little bit more about K-12 and online blended learning across the great the great country of Canada. I almost misspoke there. Randy, it looks like you're having some trouble with your mic, but it says here in the chat box, he just shared that he'll be reviewing his collection or their collection of research and also some emerging practices. So mark those on your calendar if you're interested in attending to find out more about both of those fabulous topics. Thank you, Catherine.
Great, thanks so much, Justin. And we're going to also be, we wanted to let you know that we'll be stopping using Eventbrite coming up pretty soon. I know some people have had some real issues getting into and trying to work with Eventbrite. So as of not going to have any kind of registration process. It's just going to be the link that you use to get in here will be used for every single webinar that we host, including the collaborative meetings. So it is a little bit less convoluted and streamlined process for everyone. So just wanted to let you know. And we are so excited to have you join us today. Thanks so much again. If you're interested in keeping up with us, please email us at mvlri@mivu.org or join us on Facebook, Twitter, and or LinkedIn. And I hope you enjoy your day. If you have any questions, we'll be sticking around for a while.